Welcome back to you all students. Today we are dealing with the continuation part of the unit Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. In the last class I have given you the home assignment that to fill the reservation, railway reservation requisition form that furnished in your textbook page number 78. Have you done it, children? Very good. Now we shall move to the second episode of the lesson Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. In the last session, you have learnt many interesting facts about Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. In the last session, you have seen Dr. B.R. Ambedkar as a great leader, a visionary, as a chairman of the drafting committee and as a multi-talented personality. In this today's session, you will see many more interesting facts about the life of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Okay, children. So, before entering the lesson, it is very important to have a look at new words. So, without the new words it is very difficult to comprehend the lesson. So, whichever the subjects you read, it is very important to learn new words and enrich your vocabulary. Okay? Now, we shall see the first word, anarchy. What is the meaning of the word anarchy? A state of disorder due to lack of order or authority. So, ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಬೇಕು ಅಂದರೆ ಅನಾರ್ಕಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಅರಾಜಕತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. We can use the word like this, there must always be a leader or else anarchy will prevail. And the second word is statute, which means a law formed by a formal body such as a legislature. ಅಂದರೆ ಕಾನೂನು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. The city statute dictates a nightly curfew for all the individuals. Here is a third word, children, acquitted, which means let free. We can use the word like this, the court acquitted him of the crime. ಅಂದರೆ ಸ್ವತಂತ್ರಗೊಳಿಸೋದು ಅನ್ನೋ ಅರ್ಥವನ್ನು ನಾವಿಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಬಹುದು. And the next word is legislature, ಅಂದರೆ ಶಾಸಕಾಂಗ, a group of people who have the power to make and change laws. We can use the word in this way, our legislature passed a law for people to wear safety belts. The next word is executive, ಅಂದರೆ ಕಾರ್ಯಾಂಗ, a person or group of person having a administrative authority in an organization. The executive members serve for a term of 5 years. Judiciary, which means the judicial authorities of a country. ನ್ಯಾಯಾಂಗ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿದಿರಲ್ವಾ ಶಬ್ದ? Yes. Before independence, each province had its own judicial system. ಅಂದರೆ ಸ್ವತಂತ್ರ ಪೂರ್ವದಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಪ್ರಾಂತ್ಯನೂ ಕೂಡ ತನ್ನದೇ ಆದಂತಹ ಒಂದು ನ್ಯಾಯಾಂಗ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆಯನ್ನು ಹೊಂದಿತ್ತು ಅನ್ನೋ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಈ ಒಂದು ವರ್ಡನ್ನು ಬಳಸಬಹುದು. ಅಥಾರಿಟಿ, public organization that controls an area or certain activities. ಅಂದರೆ ಅಥಾರಿಟಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅಧಿಕಾರ ಅನ್ನೋ ಅರ್ಥ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. A corporation that provides bus service in a city is an example of a transit authority. Vision, ಮುನ್ನೋಟ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿದಿರಲ್ವಾ ಶಬ್ದ? Yes, that is called as vision. An idea or mental image of something. For example, Indu had a vision of a garden full of trees. Justice, it is a concept of ethics and law that people behave in a way that is fair, equal and balanced for everyone. We should strive to achieve justice for all the people. ಅಂದರೆ ಜಸ್ಟಿಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ನ್ಯಾಯ. Revolutionary means that involving in a violence. ಕ್ರಾಂತಿಕಾರಿ ಚಟುವಟಿಕೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಭಾಗವಹಿಸೋದು ಅಂತ. Bhagat Singh became a hero for his part in revolutionary activities. Disobedience, which means refusing or neglecting to obey. The students' disobedience shocked the teacher. One more sentence we can use like this, the dog was punished for its disobedience. Non-cooperation, which means failure or refusal to cooperate. They adopted a strategy of non-cooperation until they were treated fairly. ಅಸಹಕಾರ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿದಿರಲ್ವಾ, ಅಸಹಕಾರ ಚಳುವಳಿ ಕೇಳಿದಿರಲ್ವಾ, ಆ ರೀತಿ. Students, now we are entering to the lesson, the second part of the lesson, that is Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. So, in this today's session, you are learning many more interesting facts about Dr. B.R. Ambedkar's perception of 3 pillars of the state, and also significant observations of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar on constitution, and also Dr. B.R. Ambedkar's speech on grammar of anarchy. Okay children, shall we move to the lesson? Wait. Now you will have a surprise. Now you listen to the original voice of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. You will have a great experience with this.
Our difficulty, as I said, is not about the ultimate future. Our difficulty is how to make the heterogeneous mess that we have today take a decision in common and march in a cooperative way on that road which is bound to lead us to unity.
Have you listened, students? Yes, you feel happy, no? Okay. Now we shall move to the next part, children, that is Ambedkar's perception of 3 pillars of the state. Which are the 3 pillars of the state? The first one is the legislature, second one the executive, third one the judiciary. Ambedkar calls these 3 organs as the pillars of the state. Ambedkar had a clear perception of the mutuality between these 3 organs, that is the legislature, the executive and the judiciary. And also he realized that the jurisdiction of each organ should be very clear and untrammeled. Now we shall see some significant observations of Ambedkar on our constitution. You know children, what is constitution? The constitution is a fundamental document which defines the position and power of these 3 organs. Which are these 3 organs? The legislature, the executive, the judiciary. ಅಂದರೆ ನೀವು ಈ ಶಬ್ದಗಳನ್ನ ಕೇಳಿದಿರಲ್ವಾ, ಶಾಸಕಾಂಗ, ಕಾರ್ಯಾಂಗ ಮತ್ತು ನ್ಯಾಯಾಂಗ, ಈ 3 ಅಂಗಗಳನ್ನು ಅವರು 3 pillars ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕರೆದಿದ್ದಾರೆ. So in this constitution it defines the position and power of these 3 organs. And also what is the purpose of this constitution? The purpose of the constitution is not merely to create the organs of the state, but to limit their authority, because if no limitation is imposed upon the authority of the organs, there will be completely tyranny and complete oppression. ಅಂದರೆ ಈ ಒಂದು ನಮ್ಮ ಸಂವಿಧಾನದ ಒಂದು ಉದ್ದೇಶ ಏನಪ್ಪ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಈ ಒಂದು 3 ಅಂಗಗಳ ಮೇಲೆ ನಿಯಂತ್ರಣವನ್ನು ಸಾಧಿಸೋದು. ಸಪೋಸ್ ಆ ಒಂದು ನಿಯಂತ್ರಣ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಹೋದರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಅಂಗನೂ ಕೂಡ ತನ್ನದೇ ಆದ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಶುರುವಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆವಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಈ ದಬ್ಬಾಳಿಕೆ ದೌರ್ಜನ್ಯ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನು ನಾವು ನೋಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಈ 3 ಅಂಗಗಳ ಮೇಲೆ ಸಂವಿಧಾನದ ಒಂದು ನಿಯಂತ್ರಣ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಬಹಳ ಮುಖ್ಯ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. In the last class, you have learned, children, observing his capabilities and skills in the field of law and legislation. Our Indian National Congress assigned him the work, the great responsibility to serve on the drafting committee of the Constituent Assembly. In the same way, one more opportunity came to Ambedkar, that is Jawaharlal Nehru chose Ambedkar as the first law minister of India. So what is the reason? Because he was very much skillful in the field of law and legislation, and also as a tribute to his vision of social justice. Next, we are looking at the impact of Ambedkar's vision on society. Which are the impacts? The first impact is we can observe much progress in providing equality of opportunities to all the people. And the second impact is that members of scheduled caste find doors which had been closed to them for centuries being opened. And the third impact is that they are enrolling themselves to higher learning and entering public services. They are occupying higher level of jobs both at central and state. Judges, ambassadors and governors have been drawn to their ranks. And also, the Commissioner of the Scheduled Caste said in his annual report, we need to make a lot of improvements to bring equality in the society. Then only the great works of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar will get more perfection and truly completed. We should fight to remove the social discrimination from the society. Yes, we are moving to the next important part, that is grammar of anarchy. Have you heard this word before, children? No, I think. Yes. Have you heard these words? Civil disobedience, non-cooperation, satyagraha. Sure, you will heard these words in your social science lesson. Ambedkar described the methods of civil disobedience, non-cooperation and satyagraha as the grammar of anarchy. What is this grammar of anarchy? Grammar of Anarchy is a speech rendered by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar on 25th November 1949, a day before the Constitution was formally adopted by the Constituent Assembly. He said that in order to achieve social and economic objectives, we have to take course to constitutional method. And he was against using of revolutionary methods such as satyagraha, civil disobedience and non-cooperation. What may be the reason behind this? These were only valid before independence, but these were invalid after the Constitution came into force. He called these methods as grammar of anarchy, which means they represented anarchy. ನೋಡಿ ಮಕ್ಕಳೇ, ಈ ಒಂದು ಅಸಹಕಾರ, ಸತ್ಯಾಗ್ರಹ ಈ ಎಲ್ಲ ಒಂದು ಮೆಥಡ್ಗಳನ್ನು ಅವರೇನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಸ್ವತಂತ್ರ ಪೂರ್ವದಲ್ಲಷ್ಟೇ ಅದು ವ್ಯಾಲಿಡ್ ಆಗಿತ್ತು, ಆಗ ಅದರ ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ ಇತ್ತು. ಆದರೆ ಸಂವಿಧಾನವನ್ನು ನಾವು ರಚನೆ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡ ನಂತರ ಆ ಒಂದು ಮೆಥಡ್ಗಳನ್ನು ನಾವು ಬಳಸಬಾರ್ದು, ಆ ವಿಧಾನಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಹೋರಾಟವನ್ನು ಮಾಡಬಾರ್ದು. ನಮ್ಮದೇನಿದ್ರೂ ಸಂವಿಧಾನಬದ್ಧವಾಗಿ, ಕಾನೂನುಬದ್ಧವಾಗಿ ನಾವು ಯಾವುದೇ ಹೋರಾಟಗಳನ್ನು ಬೇಕಾದರೂ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಆ ಮೂರು ಮೆಥಡ್ಗಳನ್ನು ಅಂದರೆ ಡಿಸೊಬಿಡಿಯನ್ಸ್, ನಾನ್ ಕೋಆಪರೇಷನ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಸತ್ಯಾಗ್ರಹ, ಈ ಮೂರು ಮೆಥಡ್ಗಳನ್ನು ಅವರು ಏನಂತ ಕರೆದಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಗ್ರಾಮರ್ ಆಫ್ ಅನಾರ್ಕಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. According to Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, we Indians must hold fast to constitutional methods of achieving our social and economic objectives. We must abandon the methods of revolutions as well as the method of civil disobedience, non-cooperation and satyagraha. These methods are nothing but the grammar of anarchy, and it is better for us if we abandon them earliest. Now, we are looking at the opinions of Buddha and Avvai on caste divisions. According to Buddha, there were only two valid divisions. Which are those? They are those who are noble and wholesome, and those who are ignoble and unwholesome. What is this noble? Noble ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಉದಾತ್ತತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, ಉದಾರ ಮನೋಭಾವ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಹಾಗೆ ಹೋಲ್ಸಮ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಪರಿಪೂರ್ಣತೆ ಅಂತ. ಅಂದರೆ ಯಾರು ಉದಾತ್ತತೆಯನ್ನು ಅಂದರೆ ಉದಾರವಾದ ಮನೋಭಾವವನ್ನು ಯಾರು ಹೊಂದಿರ್ತಾರೆ ಮತ್ತು ಪರಿಪೂರ್ಣತೆಯನ್ನು ಹೊಂದಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಸೊ ಅಂತಹ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಗಳು ಒಂದು ವರ್ಗ. ಮತ್ತು ಉದಾತ್ತತೆಯಿಂದ ಇಲ್ಲದೇ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥವ್ರು ಮತ್ತು ಪರಿಪೂರ್ಣತೆಯನ್ನು ಸಾಧನೆ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲದೆ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥವ್ರು, ಅದು ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ವರ್ಗ. ಈ ಎರಡೇ ವರ್ಗಗಳು ಸಮಾಜದಲ್ಲಿರೋದು ಅಂತ ಬುದ್ಧ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್, ಅಕಾರ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಟು ದ ತಮಿಳ್ ಪೊಯೆಟಸ್ ಅವ್ವೈ, there are only two castes in the world. Which are those? They are charitable who give and superior, and misers who do not and inferior. Charitable which means ಉದಾರವಾಗಿ ದಾನ ಮಾಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು, ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ನಾವು ಕೊಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು. ಸೊ ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಸುಪೀರಿಯರ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಅವ್ವೈ ಅವರು. ಸುಪೀರಿಯರ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಮೇಲ್ಸ್ತರಕ್ಕೆ ಸೇರಿರುವಂಥವರು. ಯಾರು ಈ ರೀತಿ ಒಂದು ಒಳ್ಳೆಯ ಗುಣವನ್ನು ಹೊಂದಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ದಾನ ಮಾಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಗುಣವನ್ನು ಹೊಂದಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಅವರು ಮೇಲ್ಸ್ತರಕ್ಕೆ ಸೇರಿರುವಂಥವ್ರು ಅಂತ. ಹಾಗೆ ಯಾರು ಜಿಪುಣಗ್ರೇಸರಾಗಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಯಾರು ನಾನು ಮಾತ್ರ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿರ್ಬೇಕಪ್ಪ, ಸೆಲ್ಫಿಶಾಗಿ ಯಾರು ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಅವರು ಮೈಸರ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಇನ್ಫೀರಿಯರ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಕೆಳಸ್ತರದಲ್ಲಿ ಇರತಕ್ಕಂಥವ್ರು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕರೆದಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಅಕಾರ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಬುದ್ಧ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಅವೈ, ದೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ದ ಟೂ ವ್ಯಾಲಿಡ್ ಡಿವಿಷನ್ಸ್. And also, not only Buddha and Avai, many great sages had exposed the hollowness of these divisions and sought to bring all the communities of India together. You can observe many great sages like Kanakadasa and Basavannas, they opposed the caste system. So in this way, many more sages are there who try to create awareness among the people regarding the caste systems. Next, we are looking at the views of Gandhiji and Ambedkar. You already learned that Gandhiji and Ambedkar worked for the same cause, but their approach is different. How is it different? Let us see that. Gandhiji stressed the higher caste of their duties towards the depressed class. Baba Saheb Ambedkar stressed their inherent rights to equality with the higher and more powerful caste. One stressed the duties and the other stressed the rights. They brought about a veritable revolution in social thought. Now we shall move to the next slide. Symbol of revolt. Who was called as symbol of revolt? When Baba Saheb passed away in December 1956, Jawaharlal Nehru made a moving reference in the Lok Sabha describing Baba Saheb as a symbol of revolt. He said, "I have no doubt that whether we agreed with him or not in many matters, that perseverance, that persistence, and that, if I may use the word, sometimes virulence of his opposition to all this did keep the people's mind awake and did not allow them to become complacent about matters which could not be forgotten, and helped in rousing up those groups in our country which had suffered for so long in the past. It is therefore sad that such a prominent champion of the oppressed and depressed in India, and one who took such an important part in our activities, has passed away." So in this way, Nehru described Ambedkar as a symbol of revolt. Now you will have one more surprise. You listen to the words of Sadhguru about the great personality of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar.
Bhimrao Ramji Ambedkar is a visionary leader who brought dignity and rights to the most oppressed classes of people in India. Oppression unleashed upon Dalits for centuries was brought to fore, and at least in law, equality was reinstated. Though the social situation needs much reform, he is a stellar example of showing that brilliance needs no pedigree. We owe the privilege of democratic existence to this intellectual giant. A man of great vision and compassion said, "Democracy is not merely a form of government, but an attitude of respect and reverence to fellow human beings. Though we are a political democracy, we are not entirely democratic as a society, and hence Ambedkar's dream and vision of creating a social democracy remains unfulfilled. It is the responsibility of our generation to create a society where the privileges of pedigree are replaced by individual performance and competence. All humans are equal by birth. B.R. Ambedkar, a remarkable man who gave a shape and form to our aspirations of nationhood. On this day, we bow to him."
Have you listened, children? Yes, I think now you had a great experience by listening to the words of Sadhguru. Now, we shall see some famous quotes of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar and brush up our knowledge with the great
Babasaheb Ambedkar's house in Mumbai. This is the house of Babasaheb, called as Rajagriha at Mumbai. He designed this house himself with great love and affection, and it served as a safe place for his 50,000 books. This house was made in 1930 when he was a well known barrister. This is the house of Baba Saheb. Here you can find the belongings of Baba Saheb, and you can find the attachment of Baba Saheb towards his house. You know, children, till today these furniture, doors, windows and switches are in very good condition. Some sources tells us that the wood used to do all these furniture and doors and windows were imported from Burma. I think you had a great experience with this visit to Baba Saheb's house. Thank you.
Okay children, now let us recapitulate what we have learned so far with the gist of the lesson, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. In this lesson, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, which are the important points or gist that you need to learn? You have seen Ambedkar as a voracious reader. He used to buy books by curtailing his daily needs. This habit of reading books only took him to such a prestigious position. And the second point, he was greatly influenced by the works of Mahatma Phule. And also because of his special skills and capabilities in the field of law and legislation, he served as the chairperson of the drafting committee, and also he served as the first law minister of India. And also Ambedkar calls the three pillars of the state, that is the legislature, judiciary and executive. And Ambedkar calls disobedience, non-cooperation and satyagraha as grammar of anarchy. And Ambedkar stressed the rights to equality. And also for his all achievements, Ambedkar calls him as a symbol of revolt. Okay children, now here is a question for you. Why do you think Nehru chose Ambedkar as the first law minister of India? So, what is your answer? Okay, check your answer now. Nehru chose Ambedkar as the first law minister of India because he was skillful in the field of law and legislation, and also as a tribute to his vision of social justice. Here is a second question for you children. What are the opinions of Buddha and Avvai on caste divisions in India? According to Buddha, there were only valid two divisions. They are those who are noble and wholesome and those who are ignoble and unwholesome. According to the Tamil poet Avvai, there are only two castes in the world. They are the charitable who give and superior, and the misers who do not and inferior. Here is a third question children. What are the similarities between views of Ambedkar and Gandhiji on social reforms? Gandhiji stressed the higher caste of their duties towards the depressed classes. Ambedkar stressed their inherent rights to equality with the higher and more powerful caste. One stressed the duties and the other stressed the rights. Why did Nehru describe Ambedkar as a symbol of revolt? Your answer should be like this. Nehru described Ambedkar as a symbol of revolt because he took such an important part in our activities and he became the champion of the depressed and oppressed class in our Indian society. Okay, now we are moving to the last segment, that is home assignment, children. Here are the questions for you. Take down. Why did Nehru describe Dr. Ambedkar as a symbol of revolt? Second question, according to Ambedkar, which things are regarded as the grammar of anarchy? What made Dr. Ambedkar describe the methods of civil disobedience, non-cooperation and satyagraha as the grammar of anarchy? And the fourth question, what are the significant observations of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar on the Constitution? Okay, children, thank you very much. I think you learned many interesting facts about Dr. B.R. Ambedkar and enjoyed the lesson. Have a nice day. Thank you.